Niger Delta region is one of the areas that yearns for development as a result of its contributions to the country's economy, as well as the environmental degradation following exploration leading to oil spills that have been affecting the means of livelihood of the people. This development has been a source of concern to successive administrations in the country, with the hope of turning around the fortune of the region for good, as well as ensuring even development in other parts of the country. Agitations for better living conditions for the people and improving the infrastructural facilities made the Olusegun Obasanjo-led government to establish the Niger Delta Development Commission as an intervention scheme to address the myriad of issues affecting the region. Another milestone is the establishment of the Ministry of Niger Delta Affairs in 2008 by the Umaru Musa Yar'Adua's administration, making Niger Delta Development Commission one of the parastatals under the ministry. The Muhammadu Buhari-led administration is giving premium to the development of the littoral states with recent visits of Vice President Yemi Osinbajo to the area, and he held critical meetings with stakeholders in the region with the aim of finding lasting solutions to the problems of the region. As at today, the Muhammadu Buhari-led administration has commenced the cleanup of Ogoni land, a project aimed at revitalizing the land and making the areas more habitable. Taking a look at the sole mandates of the NDDC, which is to develop the oil-bearing states, one is bound to ask, to what extent has the Commission been able to make tangible impacts in the region? These and many more are some of the burning issues for discourse on this edition of Stepping Up. And my guest is Learned Silk, who is the chairman of the board of Niger Delta Development Commission, in person of Senator Victor Ndoma Egba, SAN. We will get to meet him after this break. My name is Kemi Fakeye. You're welcome. This is Stepping Up, and we are reaching you from the office of the chairman board of the Niger Delta Development Commission, in person of Senator Victor Ndoma Egba, SAN. Sir, you're welcome to the program.
Thanks, Kevin.
Let's start by asking you, has the NDDC been able to fulfill its mandate in the Niger Delta region of Nigeria?
Well, I'll just summarize the mandate of the Niger Delta Development Commission as the integrated regional development of the Niger Delta region. If we say the region is developed, then the Niger Delta Development Commission has fulfilled its mandate. But I can say very, very clearly that we are still far from being developed. So the mandate of the NDDC remains work in progress.
As at present, still work in progress.
Still work in progress.
If you are to assess the activities of successive administration in the region, will you say, well, they did anything to really alleviate the plights of the people of the region?
When the NDDC was conceived, what was conceived along with it was a regional master plan. The regional master plan was to provide the framework for the integrated development of the region. That plan was launched in 2006, I think, and it was supposed to have a 15-year lifespan, which means that we're into the 10th year of that master plan. I think it was launched in 2007. We're into the 10th year of the master plan. But unfortunately, the master plan has been more out of use than in use. And if you don't have a master plan, it is difficult to assess on a percentage basis how far you have succeeded, because for you to be able to do so on a percentage basis, you must be measuring achievement against a certain target, which should have been the master plan. But unfortunately, it's one of the biggest regrets that I have is that that master plan hasn't been in use. So the current board is in the process of either revalidating, updating, or upgrading the master plan so that it serves as a guide for the future.
Can you tell us more about what the master plan is all about?
Well, it set targets using certain indices on what to expect in 15 years in the area of infrastructure, what nature of infrastructure to have, what kind of social infrastructure you should have, what you would have achieved with human capital development, you know, but like I said, that wasn't used, you know, and now the parameters have changed. We've moved from Millennium Development Goals to other parameters and to SDGs, you know, so we need to use the current parameters to revalidate, update, or upgrade the master plan, which is what we are doing. Unfortunately, stakeholders, especially our international partners, the European Union, USAID, are quite keen on assisting us on the issue of the master plan.
What makes the present board of NDDC different from the ones that we've been having in Nigeria concerning the development of the Niger Delta region?
It is too early to say because we were inaugurated in November, only in November, and if you recall, they had elections in December and the commission shut down for Christmas in December. So work actually started in earnest in January. And our major concern is to take back the NDDC from the present perception of it being a contract awarding factory to the regional development agency or commission that is supposed to be.
We have so many NDDC projects abandoned, you know, in most areas in the Niger Delta region. What step is your commission taking, you know, maybe either to complete the ongoing ones or to re-award or to, generally, what is your commission doing in the light of this?
Management has set up a committee that is verifying those contracts. There are those that we certainly need to take off our books because we need to clean up our books. With that volume of contract, we have a very, very tall debt profile. And we need to streamline our books by, first of all, dealing with those contracts that are no longer viable. You have to bring them to some closure and take whatever liabilities they represent off our books. And then we now proceed with the ones that are viable, and then we prioritize them. As we contemplate the 2017 budget, for instance, our focus is more on completing existing projects. We are giving less attention, or we are going to give less attention in the 2017 budget to new projects.
Youth restiveness is one of the problems being encountered in the region. What's your commission doing to cope this problem, to ensure even development?
Youth restiveness is a consequence, one, of the lack of development, and then two, the perception of issues of equity and justice, where people believe that they have not had justice, especially regarding resources bestowed on them or endowed upon them by God, there will be restiveness. The second, of course, is that if with these resources we still don't have development, you'll have restiveness. So for me, I think the final solution to the issue of restiveness is the sustained development of the region. Sustained in the manner that it will create an economy on its own, an absorptive economy that can absorb the energies of the youths. And that is why, moving forward, my board has identified drivers for the regional economy that we want to create in the region. And these drivers include ICT. If we can deepen broadband penetration in the region, ring the region with fiber optics, it will deepen broadband penetration, and it will begin to task the energies and the endowments of young people. You don't need to be a university graduate to be a computer genius. So the moment you have the opportunities, I'm sure they begin to task their brains, and their creativity will become evident. So where the ICT is a major driver that we have identified. The other driver that we have identified is the creative industry, because if you have ICT, I mean, the creative industry just ties into it: movies, music, fashion, and these are all things that excite young people and engage young people.
Even distribution of projects, because we have agitation from some areas they are being neglected. What's your commission doing about this?
The issue of even distribution of projects will have a major challenge, because there are parameters for the sharing of, for the distribution of projects, which parameters are embedded in the law, creating the NDDC. You have what you call equality of states. You use that as a parameter. The other parameter is the issue of oil production. Not all states produce the same quantity of oil, so those who produce more get more. Those who produce less get less. So it's difficult to say even distribution of projects. But we do have issues. Even when you have distributed the projects within the states, you have sections of the state saying we haven't gotten as much as we ought to have. And that is why we have a subcommittee of the board called Committee on Equity. That is the responsibility of that committee to advise on how the parameters that are embedded in the statute establishing the commission have been complied with, or to what extent they have been complied with.
The issue of gas flaring is another problem being contending with in the area. Is there anything your commission is doing about this?
The issue of gas flaring is essentially an environmental issue, and that is being coordinated by the Federal Ministry of Environment and the relevant parastatals. It is something beyond the commission, but the Federal Ministry of Environment is also represented on the board of the Niger Delta Development Commission at a very high level, you know, and that is to ensure some coordination in activities regarding gas flaring.
The case of the people of the Niger Delta area is like people that are surrounded by water and they don't have water to drink. Is there anything your commission is doing about this?
Well, I believe that is why the federal government has intervened at different stages. If you remember, the issue of the Niger Delta in recent times first came into attention in about 1958 through the Willings Commission. So as far back as that time, it's been recognized that the Niger Delta region requires special treatment. And there have been all sorts of interventions: Niger Delta, the Development Agency, UNPADEC, and then the NDDC. And then the creation of the Niger Delta Ministry, the Amnesty Program, the Ogoni Cleanup Program, are all interventions designed to address the issue of the Niger Delta region.
Thank you very much. We'll just apply a break now. The program is still stepping up. We'll take a short break now. We'll be back in a moment. You are still watching Stepping Up from the table of the Nigerian Television Authority, and my guest on the program this week is the chairman of the Niger Delta Development Commission, in person of Senator Victor Ndoma Egba, SAN, and we are talking about the giant stride of the present administration in developing the Niger Delta region, ensuring the provision of infrastructural facilities, and also making life more meaningful to the people of the area. Before we went on break, Honorable Senator, we were talking about the issue of the environmental issues and what the government is doing, and we really appeal to the people to exercise patience, as the government really mean well for them. The issue of amnesty is another, burning issue for the people of the area. The agitation that the program was suspended, and the youth that are participating, they really want the program to continue. What is your commission doing in this light?
The amnesty program is a different program. It's coordinated by General Paul Boro, and it's a presidential initiative, yeah, but it's also an initiative um, to address the issue of youth restiveness. You know, I think a few years back, under the presidency of President Umaru Yaradua, may God rest his soul, there was this understanding reached between government and the militants, you know, for them to lay down their arms on certain terms, on certain expectations, you know. So the amnesty program manages that intervention. It's a program that is different from what the NDDC is doing. NDDC. The NDDC also has youth programs, you know, that are supposed to engage the youths. Now you have to put all of these programs in a basin for it to be holistic, you know. But the point is that there have been very key interventions by the federal government to address the issues in the Niger Delta. And the most recent, of course, is the shuttle diplomacy of the Vice President, Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, Senior Advocate of Nigeria. He has brought in a lot of urgency, a lot of energy into the program. I'm working with the Minister of State for Petroleum and the Minister for the Niger Delta and the Amnesty program, and of course the NDDC. We see greater commitment, greater energy, greater urgency about resolving the issues in the Niger Delta.
From the visits of the Vice President, we could see that, well, the people of the area, they readily accepted him and they rubbed minds with him. What impact do you think this is going to have in ensuring peace in the area and also ensuring development?
Well, I think the most visible impact has been that there has been some increase in oil production. And there has been a marginal, some increase, some significant increase, not marginal, some significant increase in oil production, and significant decrease in militancy in the region. And that is because the Vice President has come across as sincere and honest, and has conveyed government's position of a commitment, a sincere commitment under President Buhari to address the issues in the Niger Delta.
Okay. What's the Commission doing in ensuring the provision of employment, apart from engaging the youth in ICT area and other areas to boost the economy of the people?
We believe that if we created an integrated regional economy, it will generate opportunities, you know, but you have to get the economy. I'll give you an example. I started my practice in Ogoja. And in those days, you could budget your time going to court. If I had a matter in Enugu, I knew that in an hour 45 minutes from Ogoja, I'll be in Enugu. If I had a matter in Calabar, I knew that it was in 2 hours, I'll be in Calabar. I eventually moved to Calabar. And I knew that if I had to go to Uyo, it was 45 minutes. Ikotekpene, 50 minutes. Eket, 60 minutes. Abak, 55 minutes. You could plan your time. And you must budget your time. You must audit your time. If you must be productive. Now, in those days, if you missed your flight in Calabar, you rush to Port Harcourt to catch the next flight. If you missed your flight in Port Harcourt, you rush to Calabar. Why? Because Calabar was like under 2 hours from Port Harcourt. Now, I don't know of anywhere in the Niger Delta that you can connect in 4 hours. So rather than improving on what we had, we are going backwards. As recently as when Donald Duke was governor of Cross River State, you had flights from Calabar to Port Harcourt. You had flights from Port Harcourt to Calabar. You had flights from Calabar to Obudu. You had flights from Abuja to Obudu. You had flights from Lagos to Obudu. Today is no longer there, you know. So until the region is connected in such a way that an activity in one member state impacts on the other member states, we cannot generate the kind of economy that will create the kind of jobs that we are talking of. Now, imagine what will happen to a city like Aba. Aba is in Abia State. Abia State is a member of the Niger Delta Development Commission. It's a member state. You can imagine what will happen to Aba with its energy, with its creativity, if they had internet access and internet speed. Just imagine the creativity that will come out of that. You know, so I think that we should be thinking in a holistic manner to get a holistic picture of the kind of economy we want out of the Niger Delta region. It should be an economy that the member states are integrated. We should, for instance, have a major road that connects all the state capitals of the member states of the Niger Delta region. There's no reason why we shouldn't have that.
Any intervention in the area of education?
Of course. We intervene in education. And the NDDC has a scholarship program. We assist schools. But again, can we do it differently? Can we do it differently? Can we do it, those interventions in a more impactful manner, rather than appear to be in competition with local governments and state governments? You know, they are building a primary school block, you are building a primary school block. They are buying school benches, you are buying school benches. Is there no way we can create a synergy that we can combine everybody's contribution and get something more substantial? And that is why a commitment of the current board, as a matter of fact, in the next few days, we are continuing our tours of some member states. And we want to engage with the governors of the 9 Niger Delta Development Commission member states to reassure them that we are partners, we are not competitors. And the only way we can reassure them is by triggering off the setting up of the organs, the various organs contemplated in the act establishing the NDDC, one of which is the advisory committee of the NDDC, which is made up of governors of the member states. Because if we're able to sit with the state governments, we won't duplicate projects the way we see today. We'll be able to have some high level of streamlining of projects. And the important thing is for us to be the partners that we are contemplated to be, and not competitors with state governments or local governments.
Traditional rulers, what assurance do you have for them that, well, they will be incorporated in the development of your activities towards the development of the area?
Traditional rulers are key stakeholders of the region. And you will see our approach when we start work on the 2017 budget. It is going to involve all stakeholders. We want to see a budget process that is all-inclusive, that all stakeholders participate in what now comes out as the budget of the NDDC, you know, so that we can also address the issue of ownership of the projects that we get involved in. If the stakeholders are not party, are not privy to what we are doing, if the state government, for instance, is not privy to the projects we are doing and the communities were not part of it, you will finish those projects and the projects will have no owners, you know. So addressing the issue of ownership of your projects is critical, and to address that, you need to involve all stakeholders, and traditional rulers, traditional institutions are very, very key stakeholders in the Niger Delta region.
Senator Victor Ndoma Egba, SAN, it's been nice talking with you on Stepping Up this week. Thank you very much for being our guest.
Thank you.
Viewer, on this note, we shall be saying bye-bye. We have more to say, but unfortunately, our time is so short. So join us again when we shall bring you another guest on the program. Thank you for being there, and bye for now.